Yeah, for the first time in our lives, I'm lighter than Aakash.
Really?
Yeah.
First time.
How long do you guys know each other?
8-9 years now.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. 2014 we met because of open mics.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 years.
Back
Wow.
then I was at Book My Show. He was at AIB.
Yeah. Interning.
Okay.
Interning, which is basically selling your soul to AIB.
Which is basically writing stuff and never getting credit.
Yeah, and these guys would just vanish after open mics at 10 in the night to go and write for these guys, which means they were doing all-nighters, like college kids and all, right? So it was very like, this is the first foray of like comedy. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is too intense.
So it was very intense workplace to work in. And
Yeah.
not just because, like, I wouldn't call it a toxic environment, but it was like definitely like everyone is working way harder than you are.
Oh, so you
So you're
always feel
constantly
like you need
yeah,
to work.
Yeah. And I was doing law school plus audio engineering ka diploma
That's
plus this plus a job at another production. I was in the afternoons. So it was
How?
like a little hectic.
You only in your 20s.
Just don't sleep. Yeah, don't sleep. Not even to early 20s. Like by 25, I was burnt out, dude. I was like, nahi karne
I
ka
can
hai.
imagine.
Yeah, like even same with me. I was working at IVM only when I got into comedy seriously, and that was like a job from 10 in the morning. I would come in at 11. That's why Amit hates me. I would come at 11, leave at 7ish, and then go to a mic, do 2-3 mics,
Yeah.
and then chill with my friends who are other comics till like 1 in the night. Catch the last train back home. Tell my mom like keep the food on the gas ready for me, whatever.
Yeah.
She would sleep at 1:30 because of me, bichari. And then eat food like aram se, kitchen mein baith ke watching a TV series, 5 episodes or whatever. 3 o'clock sleep, wake up at 6 again, get ready for the next day. It's just like that, And now when I look back at my life, and because we shot for 6 months on a stretch, I was like, I miss comedy, but not so much that like I'll put myself through that ever again. The need for 3 mics in a night is intense. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Our friend Masoom still does it. I'm just like,
Wow, that's really intense.
I think it's the least you can do. Like it's the
Really?
yeah, because it's like every other thing that you ever learn in your life, you've been trained for to some extent, right? Like if you want to be an engineer, you've been learning maths since you were in bloody second standard, right? Like, but like the fundamentals of comedy, nobody teaches you at all while you're growing up.
Life teaches you the fundamentals.
Yeah,
of
like
comedy.
basic like empathy, performance, eye contact, merging things, writing in a way, writing words that are to be spoken and not to be read. All of those
Right.
things you have to learn on the fly. So I think it's very fair, dude. First
Yeah.
5 years, everyone should like ragdo.
should do
Ragdo,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, because then like on a given night, if you have 3 or 4 mics, there might be one great show, but then the remaining will suck, and that will give you a reality check like
Yeah.
nothing other. Ki, like life is this.
I often wonder what it would be like if this city had adequate transportation. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like all of our struggling years, no matter who is in this room or you're watching this here in Bombay, so much of it has been spent in transit.
That's true. Like I was just thinking that he would come from Bhayandar
Yeah.
every day and be here at 11 in the morning, which is fair.
Yeah.
That 1 hour late is fair if you're
Yeah.
coming from Bhayandar.
Yeah.
I swear, dude. Like, remember when we had an office in Bandra, my company Lasun had an office, and my manager, Utkarsh, used to live near Pump House in Andheri East. And it would literally be like he could either leave at 12 and reach by 12:45 or leave at 9 and reach by 12.
But yeah.
So, like, there was no point only.
Yeah.
Poor guy would come at 3 in the afternoon and then he would have to leave by 6. And then we would be like, fuck it, अभी office ही हम लोग ने रद्द कर दिया पूरा.
Huh.
But hey, welcome, it's Varta.
Yeah, it's Vartalab. Yeah.
Hello.
And with a brand new guest, we have Shubhra Chatterji today with us, and Shubhra
Hi.
is a good
Hi.
friend. We knew each other way back, and then I forgot.
What?
That like so Shubhra and I. You tell the story
No, so we have a common friend
Okay.
and we once met.
at Bastion.
Yeah, at
We had a full-ass
Bastion.
dinner,
We
okay?
had a dinner together, and I remembered Navin, but he didn't remember me. So
No,
the
it's
first,
typical, rockstar life. What to
I
do?
know. Famous people forget.
Yeah, I remember that time clearly because I'd never been to Bastion. Again, it's out of my awqat, right? Like you go to Bastion, you're like, oh shit, 5,000 for like one dish or whatever. And I remember my ex was a chef, so I was like taking photos and videos to show him I'm at a nice posh place. So I might have lost myself a little bit in that moment.
The lobster was more interesting than
Yeah, they have lobster.
your fellow
and,
diners.
and there's a crocodile on the wall. Okay, there's like
What?
this.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit, I don't remember this.
it was right behind us. That's why I was taking selfies.
See, that's what
That's
you were
the-
focusing
yeah.
on while I was
Yeah.
focusing on
Yeah.
you.
And one year there was a my friend's birthday we celebrated over there, and we were all like, we'll all chip in because the bill was 27 grand for like one meal.
Wow.
But the entire meal was just the New Orleans style pot roast.
Whoa.
So it was just like they come and dump like shrimps and crabs and lobster and
Oh my god.
and potatoes and corn and everything is just dumped in front of you, and you just like the whole family just kind of combines efforts and finishes it.
We're
It was
already
amazing.
talking food. We're already talking.
Yeah. That's gonna be a kind of a theme throughout the episode because Shubhra is obsessed with food, and because of her, throughout these shoot days, if there was a point where my IBS kicked in because we ate everything from everywhere. Okay.
This is true.
But that's super
Yeah.
duper.
But let's start the beginning. I never knew until I met you that you were from Nigeria. You were born in a different part of the world altogether.
No, actually, I wasn't born in
I
Nigeria.
I bet you were born in India because nobody wants to get born in Nigeria.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
born in
Nigerians.
Navsari in
Passport, bro.
Gujarat.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
born in Gujarat.
Okay, boom.
Oh, wow.
There
Yeah.
you go.
All
And
connections.
Navsari, where a lot of my family comes from.
Yeah, I
So-
was born in Navsari. My
Proper.
parents had been in Gujarat for a very long time. Both of them studied at the Baroda Medical College.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so they speak Gujarati,
Yeah.
to each other when they don't want us kids to understand. So yeah, I was born in Gujarat, but we went to Nigeria when I was about 7.
Uh-huh.
And I did most of my schooling in Nigeria. And it wasn't like one of the big cities. It wasn't Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt. It was like a really small town called Owerri.
Yeah.
Overa.
Life goes on. I was saying there's an ovary pada in the Isari area. So, yeah.
So that's where I spent, 3rd standard to 10th standard. And
Mm-hmm.
Those are very formative years also.
Yeah.
So you know
absolutely.
Do you
the
remember?
language.
Like, do you remember that change? Like of like, hey, I've changed countries. Like, do you remember?
Yes,
Like,
yes. Very, very vividly.
yeah.
Yeah, it was very different. It was very different because at that time we were in Delhi. So to go from, Delhi to like a really small town where, there wasn't, like, we had to go basically, and this will put it in context, there was nothing familiar over there. So for example, we had to go 150 kilometers to buy dal chawal.
Right.
Not chawal, but dal.
Yeah.
Anything Indian like papad, and even dhania wasn't
Yeah.
like being grown in, in Owerri, in and around Owerri. So we would go about 150 kilometers away to Port Harcourt, which was the
Yeah.
big town close by. And that's where we would buy like dal and rajma and haldi and all the masalas. So it was, yeah, so that was very, that's something I still,
Yeah.
But how did you end up
sort of
over there? Like,
remember.
did your dad had a posting over there? What exactly happened?
So my parents are doctors,
Hmm.
and they were working in the interiors over there, which is how we sort of, long story cut short, landed up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Just
In
like
Owerri.
doctors
Not
without
without
borders.
borders,
Yeah.
Except like confined to Nigeria's borders.
Without
Yes.
continents. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That must have been such a fun. Did you ever learn Nigerian?
So the language I learnt was Igbo,
Okay.
because the part of Nigeria where we were was southeastern Nigeria, and they speak Igbo over there. So there are 3 main languages. There's Hausa, there's Yoruba, and there's Igbo.
Oh.
So Igbo was what I learnt in school
Nice.
for 7 years. Yeah.
Nice. And what was school like with like other kids? Were you like the outsider over
Yeah,
there?
yeah, was it like a expat school or was it like a local
No,
school?
it wasn't an expat school because there weren't enough expats there to
Yeah.
create a school.
Or did be dal chawal man aata hai?
Yeah, exactly. like the big cities had these Indian language schools where you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
Hindi, and they would follow CBSE curriculum. And the school I went to was a local school, and we were following WAEC curriculum, which is West African Examination Council.
Wow.
So I grew up studying in the local school, learning Igbo and Nigerian history and Nigerian geography.
Wow.
And yeah,
And
and,
like-
and I also learned Christian religious knowledge for 7 years because it was, you could either learn that or Islamic religious knowledge. So.
Well,
Right.
one of them is better than the other. And I won't say which one. They've been fighting for centuries over that. Let's that.
Well,
go
you came
on.
back and you went to Simbi, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Did you come back just for college or? Yeah, no? I'm assuming. Because
Yes.
to 11th, I think you were there only.
Till 10th I was there.
10th,
So that
okay,
was O levels. I finished there, and then I came back to India to do my 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
And I came back, of course, for college, but also because things had started becoming a little dangerous there.
Right.
So I mean, there used to be kidnappings and there were armed robberies and stuff, and things had started getting a little bad. So my parents decided to send me back just to,
Be safe.
be safe.
And if you came back to Delhi, that'd be hilarious. It's like, Jesus Christ.
No, I actually came back to Bhopal. I studied there for a couple of years.
Nice. Baap re.
Nice.
Like it's such a, you must feel like a ping pong ball, dude. Just
was
like idhar se
crazy.
udhar.
Yeah, if you get an email in life, like Google Maps sends you like places you've been, it will be a very colorful, like a whole
Yeah.
string of maps.
Yeah, there'll be places even I don't remember.
Yeah, you should do that thing where people tattoo the world map on them and then they tattoo color it as in when they visit a country or like an area.
Arre, but I don't know, because I feel next 5-6 years all these countries are going to change and all, and
Then
borders will change.
Yeah, you
and
can
then,
blend it
Everything
then. No,
will
like you
change.
can.
yeah, you'll get a little fucked, when like Africa becomes thinner because of global warming and all, and like all the sea-facing areas start going away. Then you'll be like,
Going
fuck,
in,
ye to
yeah.
jagah hi nahi hai.
Yeah, it'll become Pangaea once again.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like, everything is moving towards another continent. Like everything's
A
gonna-
supercontinent,
Yeah, another
yes.
supercontinent after this one. But we
Yeah.
won't be around for
USA,
that.
No, that's like billions of years.
Yeah. Every time I
Away.
go on tour now, I like to fuck with everyone I meet. Okay. So normally it's like right before I'm about to go on, I look at the producer and the opening act and I say, I need to quit comedy, man. Like I need to go and become a farmer or some shit. And I always fucks with them. And this time it's been, yeah, the world is ending, dude. In like 5 years, it's all gonna end and all. And they're all just tripping. Like, "Kyun abhi?" Like 5 minutes before you go on stage, it just depress the fuck out of the room and then go on and do comedy. But yeah, 5 years, I'm giving it.
Yeah, man, we already 8 billion people.
Yeah, and like abhi to 7 hue the.
Exactly. When did we become 8
And
billion
yeah, people don't understand billion kitna hota hai. It's like a lot of millions make 1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Because India में
1000
मिलियन ही नहीं है ना.
Yeah.
कितने सारे करोड़ लगते हैं 1 बिलियन बनाने को. Is more accurate for Indian standards.
Yeah, one train going from Churchgate to Virar is 1 billion people. Yeah, aram se. That's what it feels like,
It feels like
Yeah,
that.
when you
like
were saying like, Bhayandar so early morning, like the reason I would reach at 11 is because to reach at 10, I had to catch a specific train. It's called the 825 local from Bhayandar, which is, if you've ever been on that train, it's first of all, it's a train that starts from Bhayandar, but it comes from Churchgate because it's got to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
And on the way, these fuckers in Mira Road will sit in the train.
Yeah.
And
A
take all
stop
the
before
places, yeah.
they leave the house an hour before the train's time just so they can do this,
Yeah.
which is catch the train, boarding Mira Road, sitting in Bhayandar for half an hour and then going back to their workplaces, which is in Churchgate side, right? So when we got in, there was no space. We just had standing space, okay?
Yeah.
And 1 year I remember clearly because by then I'd start staying at my boyfriend's house or Jia's place or Nanak's place, like my friend's place, so I don't have to go back to that shit show of a town and come back in that train specifically in the morning. And 1 year I was like, one day I remember Cyrus was recording only, I had to be here on time. I stood at 8 o'clock, sharp 8 o'clock, I get in the train. By 8:25 when the train is supposed to leave, 100 more men have managed to get in behind me. I'm already on the door, Aakash. I'm not shitting you, okay? There are people all over. I'm the last guy to get in the door at 8 o'clock. How 100 more people got in after me, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that day I had the worst anxiety attack ever. Like I'm just like, this is it. Before Andheri I'm gonna die, and this is the end of my life.
Yeah.
Because you know how anxiety kicks in, and then you can't even breathe.
Yeah.
Where's the oxygen?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You know,
Yeah, the
it's like
claustrophobia
everything
just
just
set
came in together. But that's what I was saying. Like in Bombay, somehow people understand. Like somehow 2-3 guys made some space for me and gave me water, so I could just like survive until like 17 minutes of Borivali to Andheri. I remember 17 minutes. I was counting it down to the clock where people just get off. Shit. And then I was like, never again.
Yeah.
Just like, then we moved out of, like, my family's still there. But Abhi and I were like, let's just fucking stay somewhere together.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So
That's
much
crazy.
better now.
Trauma. It's trauma, dude.
From
And
there to Patel and then
Yeah.
from Patel compound to where you are now.
yeah, where our office is right now is overlooking Patel compound.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, this filth is where I used to live. Bad times, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bombay
then.
has a lot of empathy. That's
what I'm saying,
I think
yeah.
we need that to,
Carry forward.
survive and carry forward and move ahead.
We were discussing this, I think, on Niti's episode where we were like, I think I felt like the empathy started to go down over the last few years.
Okay.
And like from when I was a kid to now, you know, and I feel like that's something we need to actively talk against as a community, as Mumbaikars, which I think is not really happening.
Yeah,
But
because there's too many of us now. Like earlier, as you were saying, that there's 8 billion of us, so Bombay mein hi kitna 2 billion. My math is horrible, as you can see. But too many people is Bombay.
Yeah.
That's the whole context. Like when you're in Delhi, essentially, like you hardly get into jams.
yeah.
just like you coast through 5 minutes max, you'll wait somewhere, because of course there's also the bureaucracy and the politicians are coming around, so they have to keep it like that. But in Bombay, you just like you have when I leave from Bhayandar, for example, to Khar
Yeah.
on a given evening, which is like peak time, I'll take a water bottle, I'll take some sandwiches, I'll roll some in the rickshaw only. Like I make an entire picnic out of it, because I know it's going to be an adventure. And then at the end you get there.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, so many rickshaw guys also I talk to, they're like, Delhi mein insaniyat nahi hai, यहाँ पे वो नहीं है, वहाँ पे वो नहीं है, Bombay best है. While they're stuck with me, like, while the signal is saying 120 minutes until the next green signal, you're just sitting there and having like an experience.
Yeah.
But that's true, and that is why, like, I am not from Bombay. I've been living here for the last 16 years.
No, then you are from Bombay.
Yeah, now I'm from Bombay. It's the
Saturation.
longest I've lived anywhere,
Yeah.
actually. But that's the thing. The city takes you in, and it makes you one of its own. It gives you that empathy. It lets you be who you are,
Yeah.
and it lets you do what you want to do. So yeah, I think that's why the population of Bombay keeps growing, because people just coming in and just
I'm not
moving
that
in.
optimistic. I feel like it's gonna drop very quickly. Like I'm waiting on these 2-3 bridges to get done, and a couple of these highways to get done, and then the minute people have an opportunity to fuck off, they'll fuck off. Because who wants to pay rent in a place where you have to still sit through traffic to get home? You know what I mean?
But these bridges, like, once the coastal road does happen, whenever it happens,
That will not do anything.
it's going to connect Virar
This is all
to
fakery.
Versova
Fakery.
to. And then I wouldn't mind living in Virar if I can get to Versova in 20 minutes.
Yeah. But there are 2 bridges, I would say. Like, one is the new Daisar bridge that's coming up. Then the other one is the Trans Harbour link that's coming up. Like, and then the Navi Mumbai airport's also happening. So a lot of people will shift to Navi Mumbai. I pray for that. Like, I remember, like, I'm not generally a xenophobic person or a jingoistic person, but after the lockdown, I was like, fucking don't come back to my city. तुम लोग अपने अपने घर पे गए हो, सब लोग गाँव गए हो, जाओ रहो, उधर से वर्क फ्रॉम होम करो, अपना शहर सुधारो. इधर आने का जरूरत है. Take the values we've given you and go proliferate them in your small towns. Don't come back.
Destiny chose the path for you.
Yeah.
Follow it.
Yeah.
But then fucking, TCS was like, नहीं वापस आ जाओ. So then everyone had to come
I
back.
do find myself saying that a lot nowadays, where I'm just like, I miss the pandemic. Just like
Just
linking road was so nice. It was
Just the
empty.
It was
khalipan.
quiet.
Yeah.
The ability to walk around. Like, my wife and I bought cycles. We can't cycle only in Mumbai. There's no space to cycle.
There
You have to
isn't.
wake up at fucking 6 in the morning to go and cycle. Unfortunate.
And plus, you read all these guys who just get knocked over by trucks and tempos. Just
All
because
the time.
There's no cycling lane in India.
Unless it's BKC. BKC for some reason is fucking damn sorted, dude.
Yeah. It's just like they made it for, like, because white people come there. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, you'll cycle here from Hilton
Somebody
to...
planned it. The
Yeah.
rest of Bombay is not planned.
I swear.
Yeah. And like if you look at, like, especially Bhayandar and Borivali and all these suburban areas, there's a shop, okay, and there's a footpath outside it for the shop to have access to people to walk in.
Yeah.
But on that footpath are other shopkeepers
Yeah.
blocking that shop, which is
Right.
selling the same goods sometimes. It's even
Yeah.
funnier. And then there's homeless people on the road.
On the road. So
Okay.
then the road is now one lane smaller.
One lane for people to walk.
Yeah.
And then rickshaw, hawa mein jao. Like, if there was ever a need to have hover cars, it's now, because just like have the homeless.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that is so true.
Yeah.
And with the homeless people will be the dogs also, which I find very sweet. Like,
Yeah,
every
that
time there's
ecosystem
like
is in its own, yeah.
it's a very sweet little
Yeah.
ecosystem.
I would never like turn it against homeless people, because that's just like the calamity of their life is what
Yeah.
led them there. But in that moment, as you said, like dogs and cats will just still be, they will find some food over there.
Yeah.
They will chill with them. If a man is shivering, there's a dog next to him shivering along with him.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it all. Yeah.
The dog is the heater.
Yeah. Poor dog.
Dog is the heater.
Dogs get very hot very fast.
Yeah, I know. They
Like
have
this
no-
one, but like a bed space that you see now, if they ever sit over there,
Yeah.
after that half an hour ke liye you'll have a nice warmth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Chilling.
I speak from experience because my husband lives in the mountains. So I spend, a few months there every year.
That's so great.
And
Yeah.
we have 3 dogs. And when it gets really cold in the winters, it's sub-zero temperatures. The dogs are like
Yeah,
the
no?
best thing to hold on to because they warm your toes and your fingers. So we have 2 cats and 3 dogs, and sometimes
Nice.
I think we just have them so that through the winter months we have enough warmth around us.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
after cold winters, more kids are born. So this also works.
This works,
is
yeah.
Sustainable.
You should see the photos of the dogs and cats. They're all like fluffers, hairy bugs.
They're
So-
blankets.
Yeah. Udhar to, and they just naturally know. Like, I've seen my friends who had indie dogs in Bombay and all, who moved to the mountains, that you can't recognize the dog. the dog's body knows कि bro अभी weather हो गया, अभी इधर पतला रह के मतलब नहीं है, like and they just poof.
Yeah.
Our cat Mangesh, dude.
Yeah.
So we had this.
Mangesh?
Yeah.
My office had 2 cats, Mangesh and Siddesh.
Siddesh was the female.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We named her before she had a gender. So, but
So funny because they had Mangesh. Mangesh ran away. They thought Mangesh is lost. So they got one cat that looked like Mangesh. It was Siddesh. Because Mangesh was already inside the house. So now they had 2 cats that looked the same but one male, one female.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story.
That's a story.
So it was Rohit Shah's fault actually, you know,
Yeah, of course.
because we were looking for the cat in this guy in our office. Rohit, he's like, नहीं ये ही है, and I'm like, bro ये नहीं है, and he's like नहीं यही है. I'm like ये नहीं है. He's like, bro अगर नहीं भी है ना तो आज से यही है. I was like, what the fuck?
It takes balls to find some.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that the gender is different.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise,
they were so
exactly the
small,
same.
na. There's no gender with kittens at that age. But like
Yeah.
Mangu in Bombay was a pretty lean-looking cat, like hair-wise.
It looks like a Mangesh. in
Yeah,
Bombay.
and he moved to Punjab, and now I see the seasonal variations in his body hair. You know, 'cause
Yeah,
as
so
it
when
gets
there's
cold,
sarson ka saag, it's different.
Yeah.
In that season, it's different when there's more ghee and makkan. And in good season, it's different. So.
Absolutely. During the only thing that is consistent is वो भूखा है और उसको और खाना है. Like that's the only thing
Oh
that
man,
doesn't change.
that cat was just like, even when he was in Bombay, like
Yeah.
he was always starving for some reason. And like Abhi and I would take care of him because essentially Akash's office space was in many ways a fuck pad for all of us before we could have our own apartments. So they would work
Convenient.
work through the day and then would call dibs at the end of the day ki kaun aaj sex karne
This
wala
is
hai?
the Bombay empathy I was talking about.
Exactly. Like in some narrow lane of Ranwar Road in Bandra, like you had to, like, and if there was a rainy day, oh fuck, getting to that house itself was an adventure time. But when that's how Abhi and I fucking ended up together. I in a way blame the house because we were going on.
The blame.
We went on a date and then we were like, okay, let's just spend time chilling inside this apartment. And it rained so bad that you could not get out. There was physically no way to exit the house. So
Right.
everything was like you just
You
get
were
food.
prisoners there, yeah.
We were like, food is there, stash is there, life is good, just
Yeah.
like whatever. And then we were like, then electricity went off. So like, oh fuck, romantic, ooh, all of that. But
And
then
now stuck
yeah.
for years because of that one night.
Yeah, but then so like that was great because even next morning when y'all came to work, they were still working around us and we were just like watching The Office on my
But
laptop.
we were
or
so
something.
used to that at that point. Like
Yeah.
there were so many people living in that office at any given time. Like you know what I mean? And always minimum one person would be living there, which I felt was the true contribution of that office because a lot of out of towners, more than just people from the city having opportunities to get laid, out of towners who were visiting to do comedy or music or whatever, they
Could
also
stay
had an
there.
opportunity to get laid.
Yeah.
Stay there and
yeah.
get laid.
And we had
Yeah.
like a proper functioning bathroom and all of that jazz. We had a nice little water heater that
Yeah.
Very well equipped.
very, 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 very well equipped.
I still have the microwave from there.
Yeah. That
I'm just a
microwave
scavenger.
was my microwave from Baroda. Like that came to Bombay. Then so that one is also fairly old.
It's functioning like a charm,
Yeah,
yeah.
it works
Except
like a
like the roaches behind it are having a great time, but otherwise it's great. The roaches also happen on Patel compound only, by the way. It's the worst. But yeah, Nigeria happened, and then
Yeah.
you're now in Bombay, India.
Wow, we went like somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, let's
completely.
get used
But
to
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me because like my wife had a similar trajectory where she's a Bengali, never grew up in Bengal, grew up in Jamnagar, and then moved to, and for some reason all roads lead to symbiosis because like
by the virtue,
yeah, like
it's
just
symbiotic.
like if you are not from Bombay and you are like I don't know where to study media, अगर Xavier's नहीं मिला तो फिर everyone
End
ends
up in
yeah.
Simbi. Yeah.
Was
yeah.
that the same thing for you as well? Did you try for Xavier's then?
No. So I didn't go to Simbi to study media.
Yeah, I
I
think you
went there
did.
to do my undergrad.
Yeah.
So I studied economics.
Yeah.
And
As if like you say that like ये तो करना ही है, ये तो मतलब free में आता है
no,
existence
and
के साथ.
you know what happened? What actually happened was when I came back to India, when I started studying in Bhopal, it was like reverse culture shock for me.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't know Hindi. And because I'd never really studied Hindi after the second standard, I didn't even know how to read Devanagari,
Oh damn.
So it became sort of like a little, like I was an outsider here. I'd sort of got used to the life I had there and become one of the kids in Overi. But here I went back to being an outsider.
Right.
And the way we were taught was very different. Like in Nigeria, we had a subject called agricultural science, and we all had a little patch of land, and we would actually grow things and
Wow.
learn monocotyledons and dicotyledons. So it was
Wow.
very practical.
Yeah.
Nice.
और यहाँ पे पूरा it was all rattafication.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd never rattofied anything really before I came back to India for my
Yeah.
11th and 12th. And what that did was, like, I couldn't adjust into the education system back here again. Like, I remember my very first maths exam, and I was used to being good at studies, and I was a good studious child, and I was used to getting good marks in Nigeria. Like, I'd get like in the 90s, okay?
Like the Asian kid stereotype.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that stereotype holds true.
Yeah.
And then when I came back to India, my first exam, I got 9 out of 100 in maths.
Whoa.
Yeah, it
But
was.
you didn't show steps. You should have shown steps.
I did the derivation in my own way.
That's the problem. You have to follow
I
the
used
steps.
logic.
Yeah. How dare you?
Zero.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I was like, okay, there's a gap here, and it was too late for me to cover that gap.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be an architect, but I ended up giving up maths because I just couldn't handle the difference in how we were being taught, and I moved towards the arts then. And in a place like Bhopal at that time, your only options were या तो science करो, science कर रहे हो तो bio करके doctor बनो, or you do pick up mathematics and you become an engineer, or you do commerce and become a CA. Okay, it's not even like commerce करके दुकान खोलो, become a CA.
Yeah. Dude, I was
Yeah.
doing AQI comparisons this time. Like, because now the car I have now has the air filter thing. So I just put the windows down and turn it on to see what the fuck is going on. I was at my farm. Now it is a farm. It is an agricultural. It used to be a village, right?
Yeah.
So I remember as a kid growing up, it's the cleanest air you could have. In fact, I was having a bad throat, so I went there. Bombay, when I left, the AQI was around 390 while I was driving down the road. Okay, leaving this thing. Over there, it's 325. In the middle of my fucking farm. Because
How?
Aju Baju factory aa gaya, sir.
Oh no.
So like there's no escape only. Like it's very, like that's the one thing that fucks with me the most, dude, is that there will be nowhere to go only beyond a point where there's clean air.
Yeah.
Then what will you do?
And then if they're pumping dirty water in the soil, then whatever crops
That's
they were
that's
growing,
already happening.
Yeah.
That's happening.
That's already happening. It's
Na upar kuch na niche kuch.
No, that's
Yeah.
but that's what, like, I was in Punjab recently, and I met a farmer, and his thing was our soil is poisoned.
Yeah.
You know, with the fertilizers and the chemicals,
Yeah.
and this is what the green revolution has done, and our soil is poisoned. They actually have a cancer train in Punjab.
Cancer?
A cancer train,
Yeah.
where
Train?
cancer patients
Oh,
go.
shit.
I mean, because the
From
soil
Punjab
is
to
so
Delhi. Yeah.
so poisoned. So I think it's on that Bhatinda to
Yeah.
Delhi route. So
And it's
they
like-
don't have healthcare there.
Yeah.
So they go.
They have to go to and they all go to Safdarjung only. And if you go to Safdarjung there, it's like I always make this joke, but it's a fucking terrible fact. Safdarjung is the one hospital I've seen जहाँ पे footpath पे आधा hospital.
Yeah.
They are constantly overflowing. So Aadha hospital, it's like, and it's so scary because it's the same thing at Tata Memorial. If you've ever been to Tata
Right.
Memorial in Bombay, which is a cancer specialty hospital,
Yeah.
it's half the patients are on the fucking road only, dude. There's no room for them.
Even AIMS के बारे में मैंने देखा है
Yeah.
ऐसा कि मतलब just
Yeah.
a stretcher, a family member holding the glucose.
Yeah. और तू सोच ये सब के बीच में अपन सेंसस ही नहीं किया एक साल.
But did you know in the 2001 census the billionth baby was born at Safdarjung Hospital in India.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, billion child, and then government made a lot of promises कि like we'll give you free ration or whatever, like free healthcare and all. कुछ नहीं मिला उसको.
हाँ, कैसे
They, like,
मिलेगा?
verbal बोल के हो गया उनका कि celebrate किया वो बच्चा पैदा हुआ. That's exactly what happened. Oh shit! And we're celebrating the fact that we fuck too much in this country, and that's the funniest part.
In the most regressive country right now, like
Yeah.
moving towards more and more regression. But hey, at least we are not sentencing 15,000 protesters to death at once.
That's what I was telling
Yeah.
Cyrus. Like, you know, like Iran is in the football World Cup, but they lose like half their fan base if they get executed, right?
No, but that's apparently not
Oh, it's happening.
accurate.
It's happening. Not like in the numbers are
5 is the latest thing I read was
Yeah.
that 5 of those prisoners have
been convicted of, like,
protesters have been
Yeah.
convicted.
It's just like the news got blown out, like numbers got blown out of proportion.
Okay.
But like still, it's a bad thing, irrespective of how
no,
many people
it
are
is,
dying.
Even if one person is, being executed
it's
for
a
protesting,
it's a full
bad
revolution.
thing.
Yeah, it's a full revolution that's been happening for the past 2 months. Women leading it, in fact.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part. They're just openly killing women because they dare to speak.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Gonna take a quick break. In the break, try to listen to the voice talking to you and not to the thoughts asking yourself whether revolution is a good move or not. See you on the other side.
Hey everyone, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by his old MTV colleague and friend, the supremely funny Jose Cavaco. On the episode, they recollect several funny stories from Cyrus's punctuality issues to working with him on Bakra. Tune in for a huge dose of hilarity and fun. The Origin of Things is back with a brand new season. Join host Deepak Gopalakrishnan as he tells a story of how a perfume and a message written on a wall gave rise to an era-defining phenomena. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth talks about what a recession reset means and what will be its effect on us. And on Pop Rap, Snail and Antariksh discuss how the two recent Bollywood releases, Drishyam 2 and Bhediya, fared off against each other. Once again, do not forget to visit our merch store on ivmpodcast.com. Y'all can find some really cool and exciting stuff over there for you and your loved ones. Do follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you like our shows, then do spread the word. You know, it really helps us a lot. And of course, do not forget to rate and review our shows on whatever platform you are listening to them. And do check out youtube.com/IVM Podcast for all our video shows. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, Bumble, Kotak Privilege Program, and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thank you so much for making this possible.
So I always do the line of why am I responsible to pop your cherry, which always gets a laugh. And then I'm like, no, but I'm serious. Like, you know, coming to me for your first comedy show is the equivalent of saying I want to lose my virginity with rough sex. How about you ease into this? Go watch Vipul Goyal.
Be nice to yourself.
Yeah. I would always have them like start with like a primer. Like watch a gentler comic, I would say.
Yeah.
Like even after my show, when people come up to me and like, what is the first comedy show I ever saw?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. You
Why
came
this?
Yeah. Please don't judge
Too much
others by
pressure.
this.
And I go like deep, and you know how I talk, right? Like I'm not like
Go
holding
deep,
any kind of like bars, and people are just like, but they have a good time. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. Now that I have prepped you, it's like, you know, first time if you're a virgin and you first time only got fisted, then that's what it is like.
Yeah.
And then uske aage jo bhi hai, journey smooth ho jayega.
Smooth ho
tumhara.
jayega, wo bhi hai. There was this like, and sometimes, you know, 5 old ladies can ruin a show or make a show. Okay, like all it takes is 5. Like I remember we did Aspi Auditorium this time. We sold 250 people have come. 5 Moose Hadu ladies sitting in the 4th row who I don't know why they are here. They have no they have no idea who I am. Throughout they're taking video, playing games on their phone, all of that jazz. Those 5 ladies disapproving at my jokes was enough to kill that entire section of the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Because every time someone would laugh also, they would stare at them like,
Yeah.
"Tu kyun has raha
It's about vibes.
Yeah.
Now in the room. It's about the room. It's not
Absolutely.
just, you know.
And then
yeah.
in Chandrapur of all places, fucking coal city Chandrapur, there is a group of 7 aunties, okay? They came to the show and dude, like they're laughing at stuff others are cringing at, like people half their age. So then the people half their age are like, oh, okay, then I guess, you know, like, okay,
It's
then,
okay to
yeah,
laugh at this.
we can laugh at
Yeah.
this together.
Yeah.
But I got an interesting mail from a 40-year-old recently who said ki, I came to your show and I bought the meet and greet ticket, but I felt very ashamed because I was too old and everyone else was young, so I didn't know how to hang out with
40
you.
is old now.
Apparently, right? So I was like, bro,
No, like in the gamut of the audiences also, na, like the younger ones are the more enthusiastic ones.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like they'll come after the show and say ki we love your performance. They stick around. They don't have that kind of qualms, right? But then this person, I read your message also when it posted
Yeah.
on your stories that they just feel out of place sometimes because like the generational humor thing is also a thing, right? Where if you're post 35 in this country, you're supposed to be a little more like, oh, abhi ghar basti ban bas gaya apna. Now we only laugh at uncle jokes on WhatsApp. Nothing, you know, non-kosher outside
Yeah.
of this. So in that realm, when they come to our show, they find like even me, like I've had like 60-year-old gay uncles come because they've never got that freedom of like expressing themselves anywhere, but they come to my show and then they get that laugh. Oh, he's talking about our lives, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like open up to the idea of then coming to you afterwards, despite the qualms and everything. I had one old dad who'd come to my show once and hugged me so much. I felt something. I felt my father's never hugged me like that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Welcome back, Vartalab. Second half, always important.
But you mentioned Chandrapur and small towns have their own little charm, like Coal City, for example. But they'll have these haunts which are amazing to eat at, right?
Yes.
Like you always seek those out. I always seek those out. And one of Shubhra's amazing discoveries was in this place called Chitradurga, which is again like a small town on the road. We were traveling from Bangalore to Hampi essentially, and this was like a stopover town. The hotels are not nice. The hotel we stayed at was a crazy hotel. It was a
Right.
KRCTC hotel,
nice.
which is just like
Those are usually
It was
clean, right?
haunted. It was
it was
haunted.
purely
Nobody
haunted.
could sleep
Yeah.
that night. Yeah. None of us could sleep.
There's wallpapers that are red, and then there are peeled wallpapers behind that. There's a black onyx wallpaper, and then there's like marks on the sheets, stubs on the wall, all of that. It was like
And all of this is right next to an ancient fort. So, all the bhoot atmas are somewhere
ruins,
hovering
yeah.
around.
Do we have to go? I have to go through this again now.
No.
Like, okay.
No, there was an episode where I
don't.
really scared Aakash. But then we were like fairly like we checked into it so late that we didn't care about like if
Yeah,
it's haunted or not.
fair.
We just like staying over the night. But before we went there, we went to this little place to eat ragi mudde. Okay, if you all don't know what ragi mudde is, it's a ball of ragi. And they serve it with mutton chops, which are just giant as mutton pieces,
Yeah.
and mutton keema balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keema unde, yes. Yeah. Delicious. So good.
Yeah. and the place we ate at was like, you can imagine the dingiest bar ever. Okay, it's like a
Pink lights.
Pink lights.
Dim pink
Boom.
lights.
That's
yeah.
what you need, man. Like, were you drinking some nice cheap ass liquor with it?
We were not, because we were just like from the shoot we went there.
Okay.
But there were others around us who
Who
they
were
have like these
drinking.
little wooden corners.
It's a BYOB thing, so everyone would get their
Nice.
quarters and drink.
Yeah, men
there
are drinking and they're
stuff.
smoking anywhere, they're ashing anywhere, all
Yeah.
of that. Okay, so we got a quarter to ourselves, and we're like, and Shubhra had already wrecked the place, so she knew what to order. So we were like, we just trust you, because looking at the place, we all have diarrhea tomorrow morning. Let's agree. Okay, cool. diarrhea. Let's okay. What do you order? We just had agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, and we were like, okay, let's get this. And one of our colleagues, she went to wash her hands.
That
Okay,
was crazy.
yeah, Sneha, she went to wash her hands, and this is one of those places where they've kept a bottle of acid next to the bottle of soap.
She actually washed her hands with acid, and there
Both
was
are Bisleri
smoke,
bottles.
coming out of her palms, and she's like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
She freaked out.
She freaked out
We all
because-
freaked out.
Why
Because-
wouldn't you?
because she's like, I'm washing my hands, but there's fucking fumes coming out from my hands. And then the guy's like, don't wash with that, that's acid. And she's losing her shit. Like, why would you keep acid next to soap bottle? And both
Yeah.
are Bisleri bottles, same color. Like, and we were like, okay, now what do we do? But we were like, okay, let's just eat the food because we ordered.
Yeah.
And that was the best food I've ever had in the last year. Like, hands down. In the past year, I would say. Because since then, I've had so much digestive issues, I haven't had to enjoy much. Apart from
Not because of those keema only.
No, I was still enjoying. Like, Imphal was great because everything like
Right.
Naga curry and pork
Yeah,
and
very
everything.
tasty.
But that specific meal I remember because we had overeaten. Like every time we ate as a production crew, we had food left over by
Right.
default, because we were like, "Ki, who eats fucking chicken tikka every night
Yeah.
with like dal fry and all that?" We got bored of it. But that specific meal, like we were fighting over balls. Like they couldn't come fast enough.
Yeah, it was all
the
wiped.
two
The
most-
plates were like wiped clean.
superb,
yeah.
dude.
Oh fuck! so
But
good.
small towns have some of the best meals
Yeah.
and best food.
I'm telling my theory is no, any place that has been continually inhabited for over 150 years has to have banger food.
That's every place in India.
Exactly. It has to have banger food because you can't bear a place unless the food is banger,
Absolutely.
right? And it doesn't need to be all the food, but there needs to be like that one thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if it's like variations on the same thing, like you go to the central India patch, like this Indore and Nagpur and Bhopal and all that jazz, they are so into their upma. Into their poha.
Yeah.
They are so into their poha, dude. And I ate, like I used to barely like poha, okay, before I went there. Then I was like, मैं दुनिया का best पोहा खाया है. अब मेरे घर पे वो कम नमक वाला सुबह एकदम थकेला पोहा मैं कैसे खाएगा जिंदगी में फिर से?
You have some
But-
really good, and each place has
Yeah.
its own poha. So the Sihor poha
Yeah.
is different from the Indore poha.
And the pride, dude, the
pride,
pride.
yeah.
It's like
The save on top.
कचरा पोहा है ये लोग का.
Yeah, the crunch. Oof.
yeah,
dude.
the farsan on top.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, Abhi and I keep talking about this, and Shubhra also has documented this. Like, the joy of having something so simple that is, like, it's flat rice. It's something that people don't even want to eat otherwise in other
Yeah.
countries, because it's not even really rice. It's just like flattened, leftover husky rice,
Yeah.
which we have turned into a delicacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. I want to, like, of course, learn about like how your foray into food began, because that's something that's so unique to you. I think that people even seek your work out for that very reason, because your experience with documenting food has been insane, and you know everything about everything. So, like, potato kahan se aaya hai, ye gajar kahan se aaya hai. She knows everything.
Oh, South
History
America.
of food.
But
But actually, it came to us via England.
Yeah, it came to us via England. I do a
Potatoes.
bit about this.
I mean, there is, of course, there are certain parts of India where the potato came in directly with the Portuguese, but then it came also with the English
Yeah.
on their ships. And
Isn't it fascinating though? Like
It's
I love it.
fascinating.
I do this bit ki like अंग्रेज लोग लेकर आए आलू ये लोग and they had the aloo for like some fucking 150 years before they gave it to us, dude. And 150 years all they managed is mashing that shit and putting salt on
and
it.
look at what we've done. with it.
वही ना, dude. I always say India is where everything comes to be the best version of itself.
Absolutely,
Right? Like especially
100%.
ingredients. Like
Yeah.
onions, dude. Onions got off the ship and we were like, bro, हम तेरा ही तो इंतजार कर रहे थे.
Yeah.
Onions came to us from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Nice.
And tomatoes came also from Europe only, I think. Yeah.
From with the the Portuguese.
With the Portuguese.
Yeah, they came from South America.
और हर चीज में
Thank
डाल
God
रहे हैं.
for my ancestors, man. I'm just like, all the flavors. Thank you, granddad.
No, but food and food history is fascinating. Like I always say that the history of the world has been written by man's need to eat. Everything we do is so that we have those 3 meals a day and so that we can, fill our stomachs. And that in a sense has shaped human history. I mean, even the pandemic was because somebody decided to eat a bat. Right? So, yeah, I mean,
Well,
it
you
is
know.
food. So, at the end of the day, yeah, it is what you eat and why you're eating what you eat that sort of gives
And
us.
impacts things so much, dude.
Yeah.
Like this time in Vidar, when I was on tour, I asked for misal pav. They don't have pav, dude. They don't have pav there because the Portuguese were never there. So there is no pav culture in that entire place only. It's so disturbing on a deep level. I asked for dahi misal, which is such a basic thing because if you've ever been to Pune, Kolhapur side, it's like the tari and the farsan and then they give you a little bolo dahi.
Right.
Here they're like, fuck everything. We'll give you just the farsan and dahi. And that's it.
No tari.
नो तरी और ऊपर से थोड़ा ऐसा बुरबुर के थोड़ा सा ऐसा वो pulses डाल देंगे and that's supposed to be it and I was just like fuck dude like the same word has so many different extrapolations.
Connotations, yes.
Yeah dude, it's fascinating. How did you what was your first foray into making food related stuff?
So, the first show I got to direct was a food travel show called Chakle India Kacha Rasta,
Nice.
where we basically traveled to, Kacha Rasta was our, defining word over there because we would not go to the big cities. So, we never went to like a Lucknow or a Calcutta. We went to the smaller places looking for food. Like we would go into people's homes. We'd obviously go to the old, restaurants and markets, but we would also go into people's homes and cook with the produce, cook with the people, and we would go into villages and
Nice.
cook. So, and that happened in 2011. That's 11 years ago, and that was the first thing I ever directed. So basically, I got to see and understand India in a very, very interesting way. Like, for example, I'd never studied in school, right? Because I was not in India. I'd never studied Indian history, Indian geography, anything. I didn't know India. So this was also my way of reconnecting with my roots, my country.
Right.
And understanding it while on the job, while, eating my way through the country. So yeah,
It's the best
that's
way.
when the best way. Yeah.
Dude,
So
it's
that's
so
how
cool.
food happened to me.
That's fascinating, dude.
And this country's topography and food, like just the palette.
It's too good.
I remember the Ranchi Litti Choka, like we cannot forget that. Like a producer, because she's from that area, she was
Yeah.
like, कि, तुम लोग रुको मैं लेके आती हूँ.
Litti chokha is damn good,
Litti
dude.
choka, but with Champaran mutton, which was cooked in pots with whole garlic. It was delicious.
This melt of the bone mutton, just like oof. We all, again, one of those days where we all like were so tired from the shoot, but we all sat on the floor,
Yeah.
just like breaking the litti and just like
Yeah.
again one of those days where we felt short of food. We were like, कि और खाना चाहिए था यार.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think food is such a, for me especially, because as you said, like the language of people is food, right?
Absolutely.
Like when I would tour also, and that is a very lonely time. Aakash will tell you the same thing. Like now we have the luxury sometimes to take our partners along and tell them, "Ki, look at this world I discovered on my
Yeah.
own, and I'll take you on this
and
journey."
then watch them be not impressed.
Disappointed.
like, देख मेरा kingdom. And she's just like, bro, ये बस्ती है. Like, ये kingdom नहीं है.
Yeah, like Abhi, I took him to Bangalore, okay, and I have like a love story with Bangalore because I love the craziness, and it's also like I'm South Indian, so like I kind of feel like I'm going back to my roots, not so much because it's still there, a part of me. I can understand people, they get me and all that, and I'm like, look at the food, like there's a Tibetan place there, there's a South Indian place here, this dosa is nice, and he was unimpressed by everything. He just had like, yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
and then somebody,
He's from Ahmedabad, no? He
Yeah,
needs mayo.
and somebody
Cheese.
on his Instagram story, because he went and bitched about it on Instagram, ki, like nothing is good over here. Some Gujarati in Bangalore is like, try bun nippat. Okay, and then he got obsessed with that little thing, which is this papdi chaat in a burger bun, which he loves. And I was like, is this what you...
It's just, how can you reduce the nutritional value of the food that you're eating to just carbs and cholesterol?
Yeah.
If you could just take cholesterol on a bread, directly put. You know what I mean? वो तो non-veg नहीं खाते, वरना you think pork fat would have a chance to escape Gujarat? Like, it's the fattiest fat, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now Zomato has started like their Intercity Food.
That's I don't trust that shit.
I want to try it.
You know,
I haven't tried it
I want to
yet.
try the Arslan biryani.
Here's the problem.
Just go to Calcutta.
I know.
I have a big problem with this. the whole idea is fucking missing. You go to a place, you eat the food.
It's the experience.
You don't get to eat the food without going to the place. The whole idea. चूतिए हैं लोग कि इतने साल से बहन चैतन्य वाली आंटी पागल है कि वो कोनकन से पानी मंगा रही है टैंकर भर भर के मुंबई में बनाने के लिए कि वो and what is this carbon footprint you are creating just because you felt like having galoti? Fuck off. Wait till someone goes to fucking Lucknow and beg them like the rest of us do, or go there one day. You know what I mean? Like this whole idea कि so basically we are working towards the future कि तुम बस अपने घर पे अपने काउच पे बैठे रहो, बहन चोद हगने के लिए भी नीचे ही काना कर दो, कुछ करो ही मत, फिर उधर ही बैठे रहो पूरा दिन. Like how can it's so disturbing, dude.
It is very
it's really affected you. I
dystopian in a
noticed that.
sense.
Yeah.
I was just talking about getting biryani from Kolkata.
No.
Because I can't travel right now. And
No,
you're
the
like,
feelings are deep here.
No,
Yeah.
you create
I
your own
agree with
carbon
you.
footprint. You go to Kolkata.
Yeah.
Take a flight.
Take a flight,
Take
do
a flight
some
and
shows.
go.
Yeah.
And eat more than just that. Because I feel like that experience is that experience. Like I go, I have the chai at Balwant, I have the fucking Golgappa, the puchka outside of the Kala Kunj place.
The Doodh Cola also.
Yeah, and
The Doodh Cola.
Oh. Yes. Finally somebody else who gets it.
Yeah,
Like,
Doodh Cola was like, I had like the worst cold when I'd gone to Kolkata.
Same.
But I still am like, I'm going to power through this because it's something else.
yeah.
It is something
Yeah.
else.
Dude,
No, that experience. I mean, the place makes the food.
Yeah.
The people and the place.
And that idea कि वो तुम्हें जग्गे में दूध कोला दे देता है और साथ में 4 टेराकोटा का छोटा सा ये दे देता है, भर बहनचोद जितना पीना है पी. And oh man, and that condescension when you ask for दूध कोला alone and the guy's like आधा लीटर ही मिलेगा and you're like हाँ बहनचोद दे मैं पिएगा.
Yeah.
It's something else, dude, and you can't replace
That's true open happiness.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if Coca-Cola knew about this.
Yeah.
So then again, like one of those things where I'm like, Abhi, this is amazing. And it's like, oh, it's just Coke float. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's not.
It's
No,
not
it's
Coke
Doodh
float.
Cola.
It's Doodh
Yeah.
Cola.
Photo negative of a Coke float
Yeah.
is what it is. But like, okay, here's a food conundrum. I'm gonna ask you. I asked this to the. I did naan curry also on the IVM network, and they didn't know this. But here's what fascinates me: Gujarat, having such a big coastline, has no seafood. The only seafood to come out of Gujarat is what the Parsis made, right? And then you have some basic like the Tandil people. As you go into South Gujarat, they have the same stuff that the Konkani people make more or less. Okay, it's just the similar lasan wala wo fry karke koli vada style banate. But there's no other seafood out of Gujarat. Have you encountered any?
See, you're right. South Gujarat does have its seafood, but that's largely because of the Parsis.
Yeah.
But even when you go to Surat and all, fish is not a big deal. I mean, it's everything else. It's like, you know, the
Like
mutton.
there's mutton, there's chicken.
Yeah, there's chicken. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I haven't actually thought about it. I'm going to investigate this.
Yeah, no, please, can you please, if you're watching this, I've been asking across podcasts for years. Like, please, somebody find out.
I
It's
shall
killing
come
me.
back. I shall come back to you. But I've had the best mutton I've ever eaten in Gujarat.
Surat?
Not in Surat.
Then?
In Chikhli.
Oh.
Yeah, very good mutton in Chikhli.
Oh, very fascinating.
Yeah.
I've had some like life-changing mutton in Surat.
Surat is like amazing. The food is just incredible.
Yeah, no, Surat gets it. See, Ahmedabad doesn't get that shit. Ahmedabad is like cheese. Like, they're just like, how do I appeal to the most base instincts of the person coming to me? But Surat is like, I will upset you. I will give you gotala. I will give you lasuni. I will give you kacha pakka. I will
But
change
Surat
you.
has been, I mean, Surat was what Bombay is, right?
Yeah.
Surat was such an important port city,
Until the
town.
British forced the port to shut down.
Yeah.
Fascinating shit,
So
no?
there was
The
so
exchange
many
of whatever,
influences,
yeah.
you know, like it was the one big port town in the Mughal times.
Yeah.
And the influences of all the people who landed there, who came in there was just incredible. Like
Yeah.
Surat has amazing food, like the khausa.
Yeah.
You know, on the streets of Surat, you get khauswe, which
Nice.
is, but
Yeah.
this is different. This is
it's-
khausa.
Yeah, it's
It's
khausa.
Marwari.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's not Marwari, but it's like very like a Guju take on what khausa should be. But it's pretty
Yeah.
fascinatingly tasty, no?
Yes.
All of it. There's a Gujarati saying which says, Kashi nu maran ne Surat nu jaman.
Yes.
Which literally translates to
Die
marne
in
ka hai to
Kashi.
Kashi jao,
Yeah.
khane ka hai to Surat
Surat
jao.
jao.
Surat jao.
Aur kya chahiye?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And the people of Surat love their food. They are obsessive. Like I remember this one time I was shooting in Banaras, Kashi,
Huh.
and I was shooting. I'd gone back to Rekhi, a place where I'd already shot. I'd shot the food there, and over there, like while we were speaking to the shopkeeper, there's a family sitting there, and they're like, आपने यहाँ पे चखले में शूट किया था ना, इसलिए हम सूरत से यहाँ पे आए हैं खाने के लिए. And that was, I mean, that was the most validated I've ever
Yeah.
felt. Like
Yeah.
people have come from Surat to visit Kashi,
Because
and
of
they've come to
something.
this place, which we had recommended on our show to eat, and they're loving the food.
That's too good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now to everybody on Instagram is doing that.
Yeah.
Like those are those videos which are like कि ये देखिए uncle ये मिर्ची काट रहे and one of those videos where uncle is like मुझे नहीं करना यार तुम लोग जाओ यहाँ से customer है मेरे पास normally. Remember the whole controversy about the old guy? There's this in Delhi only. One guy shot the video of this guy saying कि he's struggling because of pandemic.
Yes.
He needs money. Some people sent like money across the board to these couple, the old couple, and then the old couple declared that this guy took the money and gave them only a lakh or something and kept the 3 lakhs that otherwise they got. So then he's like he's doing then he a defamation case on him. How can you accuse me of this? I'll show you all the bills. So it's been like a case
Oh wow.
in the past.
Yeah, it was quite a thing during the pandemic.
Yeah,
That
I just feel like if
chole
you,
chawal and
Yeah.
the uncle auntie
Yeah.
used to
yeah.
make.
So my whole thing is like I go to a hotel and if some great food comes, if I smell it from a mile away or whatever, I want to eat it.
Yeah.
But with Shubhra, it never happens. She's like, everybody get a place together.
Photo लेने का है ना?
And she takes the best aesthetic photos also. Like, she understands food ka, the design of it all, the
Yeah.
color, texture, everything. And she does the great photos.
But
That is
I
just
can
instinct
never.
now.
I never have the time. I never have the time to take the photo.
Yeah.
Like if I have most of the food photos on my phone are to be sent to friends and family, and they always have like 1-2 bite ले लिया है, थोड़ा सा आधा गायब है, या तो फिर बस plate है खाली.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it was a good meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I've just been shooting food for so long that I think
Yeah.
I've sort of got used to the smells and everything drawing me to them. But I pehle shoot karna hai.
Yeah, that's what I know. Like, if there were 2 crews shooting across, and we've had Hriday on the show as well.
Right.
And
Hriday is the antithesis of you, dude.
exactly the opposite.
Completely the opposite.
So
Yeah.
like we were in Imphal where Shubhra would have killed to be in Imphal. Okay, she was telling Hriday, I'll assistant direct you so I can just be in Imphal as your AD so I can eat the food, because every place we went, like there was a Thai place we went to, okay, and there's a story. It's very funny because creative director and we were recommended this place
Fish.
by the Fish, yeah. So we were like, okay, there's a crew of 15 people coming, so you all just like 7:30, 8 o'clock we'll be here.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what do you want? Our specialty is like a fish roast and a chicken roast.
Yeah.
And those will take a couple of hours to make. So how much should we make and keep? So we're like, 15 people are coming, 2 fish and 2 chickens. Then I was like, maybe,
इतने में कैसे होएगा?
wait na. Then I was like, maybe like 2 fish, 1 chicken, okay? Because I'm not a chicken person, I'll eat fish rather. And then we told our crew to come and join us. This is Hriday's team only. Hriday came that day, thankfully. But the others all bailed on us. Most of the DOPs and the production crew. So there were only 6 of us now. And there's already like 2 fish, and we underestimated how big the fish would be.
Oh, there must be those nice
This
big
giant
Massive.
as one
river fish, bruh.
A river fish. Delicious though, like beautifully marinated, and the gut inside, the blood inside was like beautifully coagulated and everything. But it was way too much.
All this before lunch.
Yeah. No, this is at the dinner time.
No, today I haven't had lunch.
Oh shit. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Like I alone finished an entire fish because
Yeah.
I felt so guilty for ordering way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
it
was
was
the
like-
beginning of your IBS.
That was the beginning of but that was not the thing that finished it, I'm telling you, because they had a spicy octopus, which was amazing. Just the beautifulest, like the tentacles, they have a very beautiful chewy
Never
texture. Right?
eaten
Oh yeah, you should.
octopus.
Like calamari you had?
No.
No.
Oh, I've had calamari.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
similar.
squid,
Similar,
yeah. Squid. So similar texture, but little more like, because they have those succuy thingy.
Yeah. But I don't. My problem with
Sometimes
eating
words evade me. So I just-
octopuses are too octopusi.
You're octopusy.
Octopusy, but octopus sushi is also like a sashimi
But
is,
it's
is
too
a
smart to eat. I feel it's too smart. It's too smart an
What
animal.
about pigs then? Pigs have a full
Yeah,
empathy meter.
exactly
are
the
so
problem.
smart.
That's
Yeah.
why I avoid pork at all costs unless it's right in front of me. In which
Right,
case I'm
unless
like,
my
"Abhi
mom
to aa
makes
gaya
it
hai."
and gives it to you.
Yeah. अभी तो आंटी जो मरना था मर गया, अभी मैं क्या करूँ? But
हाँ,
like
मेरे खाने ना खाने से कोई फर्क नहीं
yeah.
पड़ता.
But I've actually killed every animal that I eat. Okay, like I don't. I had this because I grew up vegetarian, so I was very anal about this whole thing. And when you kill a chicken or a rabbit, it's not the same as when you kill a pig, because you can tell. The pig knows what's going on.
It
There is a
does know, yeah.
situational awareness, same which I think the octopus would have. And I feel like the octopus are going to inherit the world after we go anyway. It's going to be between them and the funguses. So like, then why are we reducing the number of the people who will take humanity forward?
If they were smart, they would run away. They would not be captured and then be in a
But they're
box.
very rarely. I don't know.
My favorite is those videos where they put like soy sauce something on the hot and the octopus starts dancing. Have you seen
Oh
those videos?
no! Why would they do that?
They're dead.
Oh, thank
But
God.
then they
But
have
they
these
twitch,
nerves.
yeah.
They have
Yeah.
these nerves that are activated by that sauce. That's why
okay.
they do the twitching
That's
dance.
fair. I feel like eating animals is a thing that animals do, but the torture involved in the eating of the animal, like that gets into the food.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean?
true.
Like certain food I don't eat in India because I know that it's gonna be too sad an animal to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too scared to be even like the meat shows the scared level
The-
of the animal also.
Because
right?
the hormones in the meat are gonna like if it's a life full of stress, like when I went to that egg farm thing in Baroda, you know what I mean? It just like threw me off. Like eggs are my favorite thing, but I couldn't eat eggs for the next week because I was like, यार ये मुर्गी वो केज में ही है और अंडा ही देती है वो कुछ नहीं कर-
unhappy chickens.
घूमने भी नहीं
yeah.
जाती है वो यार like that's the bare minimum like
Yeah.
you should be like watch a movie like watch a sunset. You're a chicken, you should get to watch a sunset every now and then.
Yeah.
But Baroda is crazy about its eggs, huh?
Arey bro, crazy.
Raju omelette.
Oh my God, she knows everything.
You forgot about the chickens in 2 sentences. You realize?
Yeah, because
But that's what it is. That's
the flavor
why.
makes it.
when
Yeah.
you have, I'm telling you, Raju says I
I've
would say,
had the gotala in Surat, so
no,
I can.
but the you have the Japanese fry at Yadgar, and
Yeah.
you tell me that you feel less empathy for. You will not feel any
Yeah.
empathy.
Any-
You'll be
yeah.
like,
You
Chirayu,
just
our
feel
fellow
emotional.
comic, is just like obsessed with eggs, and every city he'll take us to one egg place. Like, "Yaaka anda kha do." I'm like, okay. But
he
that's the
also
thing, right?
makes very good eggs. Actually.
Yeah,
There's
I've-
something about ghee and again, a very Indian thing. Where like I've eaten egg in all different oils, I've cooked egg in all different oils, butter, you name it, fucking. But ghee में जब अंडा बनाओ ना,
It's something else.
it's something else,
Yeah,
dude.
it is
the
something
two
else.
creatures came together to make something magical.
Yeah, those
Yes.
Chinese birds, they really found home in ghee.
But that's the thing, right? Like when I would like my cat had a surgery, oral surgery, and then she couldn't eat like the packaged food, right? So I had to specifically. What happened?
Oh, so-
That's what she had. What are you, 5? What the fuck? Usually this is my job, and
just the idea of it, like oral surgery sounds like she was giving a blowjob and got stuck. You know what I mean? Like,
it's my child you're talking about.
I've never seen a Navin at loss of words. You
Yeah,
know?
because I'm like, what did I say that
Now.
got that reaction?
sorry, reset.
Yeah.
Oral.
So my cat had an anal surgery. That was just the worms. No, so when she had that surgery, like she couldn't eat packaged food, so I had to like especially go to the market to get a kilo of chicken like from the shop and then boil it myself, then break it down
Shred
to
it,
molecules
yeah.
so she could consume it. Okay. She didn't like it at the end of it anyways because she's like, where's the flavor, motherfucker? But I would just go every week, like get 2 chickens, and that's the whole point where you're just like standing near the cage, and while they're doing their business, they're plugging it or whatever, you have nothing to do but stare at the cage.
Yeah.
And you just see these poor motherfuckers who are just
Yeah.
like, like when you show those.
They're so scared in those cages.
Whenever there's a scene where like in Breaking Bad or whatever, where there are Mexicans going to South America from South America to North America, and they're all scared, in a chicken
cage,
coop.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I realized this way before I knew about factory farming or any of this. When I remember I was in maybe 12th standard where we were doing a class debate or some shit, okay? And we were debating about vegetarian versus non-vegetarian, okay? And samne wale ladki was supporting vegetarian. And she was like, vegetarian is also the cheaper option. And the judge in that competition was like, excuse me, do you know that broiler chicken is cheaper than paneer? Like weight by weight. And when I didn't know that, like it was benefiting me as a point in the moment. And then in my brain I was like, wait, that sounds wrong. Like that should not be the case. Like a derivative of one animal's thing cannot be cheaper than an entire other animal, right? And then I remember going to there was, Venky's used to have its own shops.
Yeah.
So I had gone
Best
to
food
one of those,
ever, yeah.
dude, and I went to this Venky's shop and I asked them to see a curry cut. A curry cut is like a whole chicken, but cut for curry. And that shit is cheap. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that shit is like, it shouldn't be. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. So when I first started dating Abhi, and Abhi's a vegan, right? So like I would always be like, okay, let's order something. And somehow whatever he eats is always more expensive. Because like to source organic good quinoa or like, even potatoes for that matter, it costs more in this country somehow. It's bizarre. Like every food item that he gets is expensive than mine. Whereas I am a non-vegetarian and by virtue you think that, okay, this animal cut would be more expensive, right? It's crazy.
And
It's
if we look
basic
at
demand and supply. If
Yeah.
you
But
have more supply, the prices go down.
But like, it's like this also, no? It's also like how humans have, like, this is our, I'd spoken about this to Abhish in the other podcast once, but I think this is most apt. When we think of a certain community's food, we think of their best, most banger, the richest food in that thing. Which if you grew up in that community actually, you would not eat that shit every day. Because you know that would kill
Absolutely.
you. everyday food would be roti, sabji, bhindi ka shak, right? Like that's your most basic thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But like the undiyu or like whatever the most fancy dish, the Bengali dish or whatever, any mangi dish, the most fancy, like you wouldn't eat pork every day.
No.
That everyone had that basic akal. Now it's available every day because we are like, you know, trying to drive that price point down more and more. But like you're not made only to eat all that shit all
That's
the
the
time.
American
Absolutely.
situation.
I mean, and you
also.
would work a lot physically to get to eat anything.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
back in the day, and we just sit on our asses on chairs, and
Yeah.
the food is available on Zomato, and now it's coming from different cities to us.
And even when we travel, we're sitting on our ass only. You know what I mean? It's not like olden days, you're on a bullock cart and beach mein the wheel breaks or the bull dies or whatever the
And
fuck.
you have to change the tires.
Yeah, like, or the bull.
Traveling should be a conveyor belt where you're walking and that's turning the wheels and then you get somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the only way we can get ahead, you know. It's like power walking away. I love it.
I love it.
But yeah, last thing I want to talk about is like it was amazing shooting with you also, and if you want to tell us a story about how I once fell into a shrubbery, and I am so dedicated to my job is what I
Very, very dedicated. Very
the way he
dedicated.
told me about this story is like, but let her say it because it's funny for her.
Yeah, because it wasn't funny for him. He was in the middle of thorns. No, so we were doing this really intense interview, and this is at midnight.
Yeah.
After we have traveled the whole day from Chitradurg to Hampi, and we've been shooting the whole day, so everyone's exhausted, including the people we are shooting with, including our characters. And we were shooting this very intense interview, and our characters are having a disagreement. Okay, so everyone's just like, you know, watching what is happening, and the cameras are focused on them, and Navin is the one asking the questions. It was an interview,
Right.
and in
Yeah.
the middle of the interview there was a
And this entire day we have been like, the way we approach these interviews also like, okay, what's playing out in front of us, let's accumulate all of that knowledge and then focus on the questions to get this out of them. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are like, okay, we are very bent on it, and because it's a resort we can't just shoot anywhere, so we found a spot where people could also pass without us being a hindrance.
Right.
So there's like 2 DOPs and I'm sitting on the DOP saddle bag. So every DOP will have like a bag which is a mini bean bag
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So he's sitting on a chair behind me. There's a bean bag and I'm sitting on the bean bag.
and the camera is right next to Naveen. So the
Yeah.
camera is here. I mean, is there, and Naveen is 2 millimeters away from it. So he's being very still, sitting on the saddlebag, and we're shooting in one corner because we can't disturb the rest of the resort. So we're shooting in a corner. So he's sitting next to a hedge. So एक तो मच्छर काट रहे हैं.
Buri
It's
tarah se.
like
Fucking this entire side was just like eaten. Both Ankit, the DOP and I were just getting bit, but we couldn't do anything. We
Yeah.
can't like fuck with the rhythm or like tell them ki guys shut the fuck up, stop
yeah,
arguing.
you can't even move behind camera because you don't want to disturb their
Yeah, yeah.
process, right? You don't want to distract with any movement behind camera. So we're all trying to hide ourselves.
Yeah.
And in the middle of this, Naveen has asked a question, and there is activity happening there, and there's a disagreement happening there, and suddenly we see Naveen just, you know, like move to one
Slightly.
side, and we're like, I was like, what happened? Is he okay? He just moves because the saddle bag has sort of slipped, okay? And the saddle bag and Naveen fall into the hedge. A thorny hedge. And Naveen does not react because he doesn't want to disturb those people. So he just
dedication.
keeps sitting in that hedge.
I'm like this in the hedges.
He's-
like somebody say cut.
He's sitting in the hedge, and we are like, we can't even laugh because वहाँ पे झगड़ा चल रहा है, and we can't react to what is happening here. So it's like this entire comic situation happening behind the camera, and Naveen, poor thing, hasn't moved. He's not even breathing, okay? Because he's like, if I breathe, I'll fall more into the hedge.
Yeah. I mean, every little stir I'm sinking deeper into this, and there's more
It
mosquitoes.
was hilarious. So finally, we did call cut, and we managed to pull him out of the hedge.
Yeah, it was-
But about
Thorns
thorns
sticking
all
out,
over.
yeah.
like fucking grass coming out of my hair for next 3 days.
Oh, but that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some crazy experiences, and I'm really hopeful that what we have captured, and when people get to see it, it'll be
Yeah.
a little
Fingers
bit,
crossed.
Yeah.
We all have a lot of hopes.
Yeah, we just wound
From
up
this
like
one, yeah.
Shubhra's side of the production.
Lovely.
Uh,
You're also done, no? You're
no, one
Yes,
with their stories.
one is left. Okay.
Yeah.
We also have 2 more days, don't forget.
Yeah, I won't forget. Yeah,
Yeah, because you'll be there.
I'm
Good,
I'm
y'all
You'll
finished
get a
this?
call time soon.
Y'all finished this? I have a new food show idea after this.
Oh,
I'll tell you. It's
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah,
It'll be
let's all do
perfect
food
for-
shows.
yeah.
Let's bring back food shows.
I've actually missed doing food shows. I haven't shot any food shows this year, and
Because
I think it's time to
nowadays
go
the
back.
idea of of food show is McDonald's in India versus McDonald's in America. Let's eat
Yeah,
McDonald's.
that BuzzFeedification
Yeah.
of.
और it's like ये देखिए ये राजू चाइनीज नागपुर में राजू चाइनीज जो बिल्कुल कैबेज नहीं डालता अपने चाइनीज में क्या है बेंचो
Or you go to like some part of Ahmedabad and it's just like the fucking worst concoction where it's like ice cream, bhel puri or something like that. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
It's all about outrageous things which will attract the
Yeah.
in social media audience for those 5 seconds,
But
and it's all about quote unquote viral content.
Yeah.
Right.
So hence you focus on what is the most outrageous thing,
Isn't
but
it
otherwise.
like it keeps coming back to this? I feel this season more than any other season that we've done before. That everybody is like सबका काम अलग है, पर एंड में तो सबको रील्स पे व्यू चाहिए. You know what I mean? Like शेफ भी वही कर रहा है, कॉमेडियन भी वही कर रहा है. तो जो एक्चुअल चीज करने का रहता है जिसमें अच्छा, like Sachin Tendulkar, if he was alive right now, when would he
He's
get
alive,
time?
He's alive.
In the sense कि, sorry, if he was playing right now.
Did we just kill Sachin?
Yeah.
Big mistake, especially with Jinx in the room.
Yeah.
But
He will die at 99.
Yeah, no. Ouch.
I did a cricket joke, guys. Can you believe it? It's amazing.
On that note, we'll just like end this episode.
If he was alive, he'd also cut over here only. Thanks,
He'd also
Shubhra,
be
for
making
joining us.
reels.
You should follow Shubhra. She does a lot of food history and other stuff on her Instagram handle, which is History Wali
History Valley.
with 2 A's. Is it with 2 A's?
I don't remember. I'll have to check.
We will tag you.
We'll tag you. That's
yeah.
Navin Norona, House of Norona. Kuch bhi meta. This is Varta Lab. Subscribe, follow, etc.
Yeah, and join the lives, guys. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. we
Yeah.
go live. So get the live chat going. Tell your friends. Make a thing out of it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
We're also hanging out only there. That's when we also hear the episode.
Yeah. And this week's prompt, we should do a prompt for this week.
What?
for
We should,
AI art.
we haven't done a prompt.
Our
for-
fans do AI art for us
once in a while.
once in a while.
that's
The Yamraj
interesting.
was fucking banger, by the way.
Yeah. We had a Grim Reaper on a buffalo.
Yeah, sorry, the
Oh.
Grim Reaper.
Okay,
on
so
the
that was
buffalo.
Yamraj.
Yeah, and then we had a Van Gogh style rats
Eating momos.
momos. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think ragi mutton chops.
Ragi mudde and mutton chops.
Yes.
Yeah. This week's
Ra-
prompt is
Ragi
mutton
mudde
chops.
and mutton chops. That should be fun. Let's see what the AI
Yeah.
does with that. I don't think the AI knows what a mudde is.
Yeah. Mudde ki baat.
See you next week.
Bye bye.